minutes to figure it out. Let's see. Yeah, everything should be here. Okay, good. Yeah, they're on their way. Let me know. Let me know if they report me.
There are so many
okay?
games that.
If they report me, I'll go like get into combat. Let me actually go over here, and that way they'll think that I'm playing the game. Let me go over to like this area right here, and woo! All right, I didn't attack. Okay.
Struggle to find that.
Wrong one? Wait, how's it the wrong one? I mean, there's two of them. Difficulty in Video Games Part 2. I haven't even watched Part 1. Do I need to watch Part 1 to watch Part 2, or can I just go to Part 2? Alright, I haven't seen either one of these, so I'll just look at it right now, okay?
Perfect balance between baby mode, challenging, and frustrating. Ideally, your game should land right in the middle there, next to Donkey Kong. But where this all gets muddled up is with the addition of multiple difficulties, scaling difficulties, overpowered techniques, exploits, ranking systems. It gets really messy when you start examining what's fair, what's bullshit, what should be easier, what should be harder. There's so many variables, and it's largely subjective to each player's skill level that I don't even know where to begin with this video.
It's only a 5-minute video.
How about Halo 1, one of my favorite single-player shooters? It offers you 4 difficulties, which if you're a grown-ass man still playing video games, still playing Halo 1, you need to cross these 2 off right now. Let's be real. Now, playing on PC with a mouse and a keyboard, I could just barely, after about 700 deaths, just barely squeeze my way through this game on Legendary.
That's
it was fucked up. Halo 1 on Legendary changes a man. Then I went back to on Heroic and whooped the game's ass, but this is my problem. Which difficulty did I enjoy more? Legendary was more challenging, but guns like the assault rifle became obsolete. Most of the time, you're forced to use the plasma pistol, which is... I hate the plasma pistol. This shit is stupid. On Heroic, you have much more freedom in how you approach the game, but after playing on Legendary, it just feels like a cakewalk.
Yep. Oh, this is heroic mode, guys. This is heroic mode.
The Covenant are putting up a real fight.
And a lot of games have that irritating gap between kind of hard and fucking annoying. You want the game to push you to your absolute limit and force you to experiment and find out what works, and what sucks is when you find out what actually works just isn't that fun. Variety and options are sucked out of the game. You have these severe difficulty spikes that feel overlooked by the developers.
Wow,
and
I've never heard of that before.
Is the player starts pushing back. You notice the cracks in the game's design. You abuse the AI. You learn how to stop enemies from spawning.
Okay.
And when you push the game to its limit, sometimes it cracks.
Why didn't y'all tell me that?
Ruined.
Marvel,
Mega Man, Shovel Knight. These games have one fixed difficulty, so you know the experience is entirely tailored around what you're playing. Without a doubt, it's the way the game is meant to be played. It doesn't always result in a perfectly tuned game. But it does lend a huge sense of legitimacy to what you're doing. Players should have options in how they approach a game, but letting you pick how difficult the game is maybe is just a step too far. It's like my man Tupac says, no one man should have all that power. Bioshock 1 on hard, Uncharted 2 Remake on crushing, Mass Effect 2 on insane. These difficulties just nailed it for me. I think they're perfect. But then you have all these other supplementary difficulties that end up being inferior ways to experience the game. What's really smart are games that are easy to pick up but difficult to master. Let the player get a hang on what's going on and then continually ramp that shit up until it gets sadistic. Take Mario 64. Not the hardest game ever made, but people just go nuts on this game, man. Far beyond what is actually expected of you. You want that depth. That margin for improvement. It keeps the game alive. You don't want just a static cap where you feel like you can't get any better at the game. When you encounter a poorly designed difficulty, you start second guessing yourself.
Is this all Lyric has to offer?
A challenge would be nice.
It's over? Oh, it's over. Whatever that was, I never want to go through it again.
You say, well, if I can't lose, why isn't this just a movie? Or why am I wasting so many hours trying to beat this one bullshit part?
What a piece of shit.
Why am I wasting my time playing this shitty game?
Piece of shit
why do I even play video games? Why do I even exist? Now,
I'll be honest, like, Dark Souls gave
Kirby's
me an
epic
existential
yarn
crisis.
It's causing you to have an existential meltdown. That's when you need to take a break and say, this game is too easy. I need to go play some Donkey Kong Country. Now, in this game, all I'm thinking about is, man, I gotta fucking kick this beaver's ass.
That's right, dude.
Guys. What I'm trying to say with this video
I sold that game to GameStop
is that League of Legends sucks dick.
True. I agreed with everything that he said in that video, especially the last part. So this actually, like, what he's saying here actually makes a whole lot of sense. And he's saying that the added difficulties in games create a different experience, and because everybody isn't experiencing the same thing, the development of the game is either streamlined in a way that makes the game unfun. That's like what he was saying with Halo 1, that if you're playing on legendary mode, you basically have to just like use the plasma pistol, deplete shields, and then shoot the elites in the head, right? You do the same thing every time. And it pigeonholes gameplay into this like very, very small window of things that you're able to do. And the lower difficulties make it to where you can do a lot of other things. And if you only had one difficulty, you'd be able to balance the entire game around that one difficulty, rather than having multiple difficulties and different levels of balance that some are frustrating or unfun or contrived. So I actually really agree with what he's saying, and I think that's one of the big successes that you can see with like Dark Souls, for example, because Dark Souls was so, yeah, we're gonna watch part 2, but let me finish what I'm saying. Dark Souls, I think, is very successful because it's not like I can put Sin's Fortress on easy mode and just one-shot the Snake Boys with the +6 longsword, right? I had to get something different. I had to do something new, and if I didn't do that, I wasn't going to get anywhere, and that's what was important about it. It's the same thing with the Knight Artorias, right? I did not really enjoy the progression, but the reason I didn't enjoy it was because of myself. Like, the fight itself I thought was very good, and everything about it was great. It's just that I got myself in a bad mood because I felt like I was beating myself. And a lot of the examples, people saying greed, I think I have a double-click problem with my mouse, because 90% of the time whenever I would do my second attack, I wouldn't actually be intending to do a second attack. But either way, I think having one difficulty for games is actually what's best. By the way.